Yes guys, welcome back to Hair System DIY, your go-to place for anything hair system related. Today we're going to look at 3 signs that you may want to remove your hair system. So let's jump into this together. Now before I crack on, I just want to mention that this video is sponsored by Vivid. They're offering, as many of you will know, 15% off any hair system, any accessories that you want to purchase with them, and you can use it as many times as you like. You know the drill, guys. 15% off discount code in the description box below. Please do check it out. So, on to today's video. I want to outline 3 signs that you may want to look out for when you're thinking about removing your system. So I've been wearing this unit for about 2 weeks now without removing it and doing a clean. So I've done this on purpose because I want to show you exactly the things that I look for when I make that decision to remove my system, to give it a nice clean and have a bit of a maintenance day. So the first thing you will notice, this is the most obvious sign that you probably need to think about removing your system and giving it a really nice clean, is you start getting lifts. I mean, I'm pointing at the hairline, but it can literally be anywhere. It can be anywhere on the system. If you start noticing lifts, I actually noticed one the other day, which was when I was like, okay, this system is getting towards the end of its period on my head. It needs to be removed. It needs to be cleaned. There was a lift, and as you can see right now, when I pull that up, you can see that there is a lift happening there. I've got tape around, well, the whole perimeter actually. I'm going through a tape phase. I kind of do this. I'll go through phases. Sometimes I'll just go full glue. Sometimes I'll go through full tape. And sometimes I'll mix it up a little bit. Glue at the front, tape around the edges. As it's lace, I'm going with the full tape at the moment. The tape that I am wearing, if you are interested, is in the description box below. It's Walker Green tape. I really like it. I'm new to it. Highly recommend it though. But yeah, I've been wearing it about 2 weeks and I started getting this lift. And when you start getting those lifts, that's when you know that the time is coming for you to think about removing this system. There's also around the side, I'll see if the camera can pick this up, but around the side, it's starting to lift as well. So when that kind of stuff is happening and you can feel the tape, and the tape feels a little bit, I say gluey, that's not the right word. When it feels as if it's coming apart and it's becoming gunky, that's when you know that the time is coming. You can get away with it for a few days. So this lift I first noticed on, well, at the time of filming, it was about 4 days ago. Now with the shorter hair and the fact that I have it down most of the time, it gives me a few more days to kind of get away with it. So this is great if you have your hair down, because it means that you can sort of go for a couple more days. If you have your hair up all the time, if you have an exposed hairline, it can be a little bit more difficult and you have to be a little more proactive around getting the system off, giving it a clean and rebonding it again. Sign 2 is that there's an increasing level of itchiness on your scalp. And the reason that is because your bio hair is starting to grow through and it's starting to almost like force against the bond. It's starting to force more so against your system, and you really do notice it. It manifests itself in the form of increased itchiness. You'll probably notice that the first week or so of wearing a system, maybe about 5 days, you'll get a pretty itch-free experience. But then the longer time goes on, you'll probably notice that the itching becomes more pronounced, it becomes more common, and it actually gets quite annoying. When it's at the point where it's really quite annoying, that's when you know you need to start thinking about removing your system and giving it a clean and doing the whole rebond thing. So in this instance, this one's been on about 2 weeks. I'd say after the first, probably about 8 days to 9 days, it was pretty fine, but then the itching started happening. And it's mainly where, you know, the bio hair is at it's most thick, the biohair under the system. Now some bits for me, as for most guys who wear systems, are actually quite thin with biohair, but there's other bits, clumpy bits, which just keep on growing in a more sort of dense fashion. That's where you're most likely to get itching. In my personal case, it's these two bits at the side here. This is where I get the most itching, and coincidentally, this is where most of my remaining biohair is at its thickest. And sign 3 is just about time. Now, when you've got this hair system on your head pretty much all the time, you need to be mindful of how clean you're keeping your scalp. It becomes a bit of a hygiene issue. I personally never wear a system for longer than 2 weeks, because when you're wearing a system for more than 2 weeks, that means that you're not cleaning your scalp, and you can get all sorts of fungus that starts growing under where the hair system is. You can get bacteria growing under there as well, all sorts of things. And the more time you leave your system on, the more these bacteria, these funguses can actually grow. And that in itself is actually not good for your scalp. It's actually very unhygienic. It can give a little bit of a nasty smell as well, which obviously you don't want. So this is also a really important sign to be mindful of. If you've been wearing it for 2 weeks and beyond, you really need to start thinking about actually taking it off and giving your scalp a really good clean. Because down the line, this can create a whole load of other issues, which you don't want to have to be dealing with. Now, I think 4 weeks is too long. I just think it's unhygienic. Would you keep the same clothes on for 4 weeks? Of course you wouldn't. It's unhygienic, it's smelly, it's unclean. So why would you do the same with your hair system? And it's really about framing it like that. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't even wear the same clothes for 2 weeks, let alone 4 weeks. So, you know, when you look at it like that, 2 weeks is by far and away enough time for you to wear the system and then take it off, clean everything up. You know, it's important, guys. If we wear hair systems, we clearly care about our appearance. Our appearance is important to us. It's probably important that we smell good and we hold ourselves well. So you don't want to let the team down by basically keeping your hair system on for way longer than it needs to be, but also taking, you know, very small, you know, I wouldn't say health risks, but basically allowing, you know, your scalp to get super dirty. And another thing as well is if you leave it on for that period of time, the cleanup takes way longer because there's so much more mess to deal with, and no one wants that. You know, at the end of the day, our time is precious, especially if we work or if we've got a busy social life. We don't want to be spending any more time than we need to on cleaning and maintenance. I always set myself a timer for between maximum 2 hours clean every 2 weeks. It should never ever take longer than that. However, if you've got it on for 4 weeks, it might do. So what's the point? I hope you found that video interesting and insightful, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe and get that locked in. Hit that notification bell so that whenever I make new content, you will be notified. Please do like the video. People are forgetting to like. YouTube really likes likes. So it will help other people find this free content within the YouTube ecosystem. People who might be hair system wearers, or people who are even thinking about getting into hair systems but don't know where to start. If they can find this kind of content, it might really help them make a very important decision in their lives. Now, we've been talking a lot about cleaning today, guys. So if you're interested in other tutorials which take you through how to clean up a system, please do check my tutorials playlist, which is going to pop up on the screen right now. And you can get first-hand experience of how to hygienically clean a system. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you very soon.